Hello, everybody. I'm Jillian Sakovits, and welcome to Full-Time Review. It's presented by Amazon Business. Your Monday morning rundown, looking back at the weekend's action on the pitch and the top stories from the NWSL and beyond, and we do it in all under 20 minutes. Coming up on today's show, perfection continues for the NWSL's Elite Two. The Kansas City Current and the Orlando Pride make it 3 wins from 3, and we're going to try to answer which is the top team in the NWSL prior to the international break. And we've got the latest on injury concerns for U.S. Women's National Team defender Tierna Davidson. And ahead of the international window, we also pop over the Atlantic and check in on some Americans abroad. Let's get into it. Orlando and Kansas City, perfect at the top. Yet again, the Orlando Pride beating the San Diego Wave 2-1, the game winner coming off of a Marta Panenka. Despite missing one from the spot just 3 minutes prior, Marta just doing GOAT things as the penalty kick proves to be the difference.
About the penalty, I was a little bit confused if I go to the right or the left. So when you are like confused, so you put like that I did, it's just like shaping the meat. So... and then expert for the best.
In the Kansas City Current's 3-0 win over the Utah Royals, Temwa Chawinga opened the scoring, netting her 3rd of the 2025 season and her 8th in consecutive regular season games dating back to last season, tying, yes, her own league record. Chawinga now heads off for international duty for Malawi's friendly doubleheader against South Africa April 5th and 8th in Johannesburg. In injury news, U.S. Women's National Team and Gotham FC defender Tierna Davidson limped off the field in tears in the 40th minute against the Houston Dash. It happened when the 26-year-old was going to defend Yasmin Ryan when her left leg planted awkwardly. Davidson went down, holding her left knee, visibly upset before leaving the field. As of Sunday night, no update was provided.
For me, Tierna is a warrior, is our captain. He was devastated seeing her coming off the pitch how she did, but then seeing her on the pitch at the end of the game, it was also, a message from her to the team of how strong she is. I know whatever it is, we're going to be with her. We're going to support her. She's in safe hands. We have a fantastic medical team, and I hope it's the minimum it can be, because she's been outstanding for us and outstanding for her country, and she's our captain, so I really wish it's the shot that it can be. At the moment, I don't know.
And in Washington Spirit news, despite Trinity Rodman getting her very first start of the season, a sober admission from the 22-year-old MVP candidate.
Honestly, I don't think my back will ever be 100%. It's kind of an issue of, it's not one specific thing. It's kind of just the way that my back's structured, and kind of it's more so a management than like a curable fix. So I think we've managed it really well, and I'm happy with the progression that we've had. But for me, I don't think my back will ever be like the way it was my rookie year, which is unfortunate. But yeah, like you're saying, I think it's tough for me coming off of such a good season in the Olympics and then going into an injury, and then now trying to kind of find my place again and find my role and find my rhythm.
Rodman has been included in Emma Hayes' latest U.S. Women's National Team squad and is set to play international soccer for the first time since the 2024 Olympics. Time now to dive a little bit deeper into this NWSL weekend, and to do that, we bring in the man who's often, do we say behind the scenes?
Behind the glass.
Way behind the mic? Producer Theo, also known as Theo Lloyd Hughes. Theo, thank you for coming forward and joining us here.
I love to be behind the glass, in front of the glass. Producer Theo to my family, so we can keep that one going. It was a fun weekend, wasn't it? I think we had a lot of fun. And the big question, Jill, right, is, 2 incredible teams, but is one of the Orlando Pride or KC Current better than the other right now?
So that's the question, because when you look at the standings, they're neck and neck. They're virtually the same on goals scored. They're the same on goals allowed. They've each allowed 1 on the season. But to the eye test, producer Theo, who's caught your eye? If these two were going up against each other tomorrow,
you're giving me the eye test.
Yeah.
It's a tough one, right? I think we at the end of last year, right, there was a lot of debates about this idea of the Orlando Pride being sort of the perfect team, right? Everyone plays a role. There's lots of stars littered across the lineup, whereas maybe KC Current rely a lot on the goals of Temwa Chawinga. Well, what I would say right now, as we're talking 3 games into the new 2025 NWSL season, is look how much some of these other players on the Kansas City Current have improved. Dabinia looks fantastic, not in the Brazil squad, listener. Important to note because we've got that international window coming up. And she just looks like she's hungry to get back in the Brazil national team. She's been phenomenal, 2 goals now. And I think seeing Michelle Cooper, who, is also called up to the USA, right? We see her breaking in, making her debut in the last window. She just looks so evolved, so developed. I think Vlatko and Andonovski can take huge credit for developing her as a player. So 3-0 win, Dabinia, Cooper, Chawinga, all on the score sheet. I mean, that front line, do you think Orlando has a front 3 as good as that?
You're making a very good case for Kansas City right now.
I don't even want to be that ultimatomy about it. These are 2 fantastic teams. But
I know.
You've got to think,
because I'd say coming into the season, you'd say, oh, well, the Pride have a very good chance to repeat.
Opened the year with the 6-0 win over Chicago. I think that turned a lot of heads.
Who do you think has the more complete team on paper?
Well, that would be maybe where you'd give Orlando the edge, right? Back to front. We talk a lot about the defense. You teed it up. San Diego scored the first goal against them. Maybe defensively, that's where you give Orlando the edge.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
You're not buying it.
So I don't know. I'm not buying much.
What I will say, and this is no shade on on Vlatko Andonovski, who I just gave a lot of credit for making Michelle Cooper a better player. But what I will say about Orlando is I think the culture in the locker room Seb Hines has cultivated is really special. And so if you did tell me tomorrow Orlando Pride were going to play KC Current, there is something about what's happening in Orlando and in a bigger picture, right? So what Haley Carter's doing, what the club is doing, that feels so special. I do feel like they could beat anyone on their day. So I will give them that. But maybe if, Temwa's on this role and the other forwards look great and Claire Hutton's developing the midfield, it's a tough one, but we could debate this all day. Maybe there isn't a better team, but
Marta too, I think her veteran leadership with the young players, it feels like it could be another recipe for some magical success this year. It really does. But good news, we don't have to wait too long. May 16th, we will see these 2 go up against each other.
Beyond these 2, though, Jill, I did want to talk to you about something else that caught my eye during this weekend because it was a fun one. It was a fun one. And I think what made it really fun was the celebrations. And Temwa, while we're still talking a little bit of KC here, did kind of show off a little bit more of that off the pitch Temwa we haven't really seen. She went to her teammates and sort of brushed her shoulders off. And then she said after the game, it was something actually Michelle Cooper, her teammate, had encouraged her to do if she scored. So I thought that was really cool to see. What other goal celebrations caught your eye, Jillian?
First of all, I really like seeing that from Temwa. I like her just putting herself out there. And you have a good teammate if they kind of push you to be a more, intense version of yourself, to really put yourself out there. But I really love the one that you pointed out from Ashley Hatch, her celebration of kind of walking down the runway, doing a bit of a photo shoot. At first, I thought it was like a paparazzi thing, but now that
I thought paparazzi at first,
a few more times. And you could tell she was like a little hesitant and a little uncomfortable, but then she really went for it. And then to see Trinity Rodman just run up there and give her a big hug, not only for scoring the goal, but for like putting herself out there. And for anybody who is an NFL fan, this is very Minnesota Vikings-esque because they have become known over the last few years of kind of going into the week with highly, highly practiced celebrations, touchdown celebrations. Like, I think they've had scenes from White Chicks. They've had Duck Duck Goose. I mean, they have had like full cast of characters.
All the hits.
Celebrations.
White Chicks, Duck Duck Goose. You name it.
All the bangers. So this Ashley Hatch celebration kind of reminded me of that because everybody very much needed to be on the same page for that. So it kind of made me think like, is more coming? Is this becoming more of a thing? 'Cause it's very much become a thing in the NFL. And that all stemmed from them taking the rules away that you would be penalized for like over celebrating or including more than 3 or 4 players. So I hope in the world of soccer they don't ruin it for us and instill any rules that could hurt these celebrations. Because let's face it, like it's good for soccer, it's good for the game, and it's good for the women's game.
Well, we're just having fun. I think it's just like you want people to express themselves. And I think what I really loved about the Hatch one that you mentioned, the catwalk, as maybe it will be known, is how her teammates, Esme Morgan and Trinity Rodman, said after the game that they came up with it. It was sort of like the playfulness of it. They got Ashley Hatch, who is sort of known as maybe being a bit more of a shy player. She really committed to it. And they talked about how special that made them feel to be like, oh, we got Hatch to be, to commit and be into it. And that's what you
Yeah,
want
to
from a
put
team.
herself out there a little
Put
bit.
yourself out there. And that's what you want from a team. You play a good pass, you challenge people physically, technically, and mentally, and celebrations. There's more to it than you think, listener.
Time to check in now on the Americans abroad. It was vintage Crystal Dunn in PSG's 6-0 rout of St. Etienne. The match was highlighted by a brace from her in just 57 minutes of play. The first, a cheeky little back heel. The second, a left-footed screamer from way outside the box. It was nice to see this side of Dunn, who had not scored for club since June 8th of last year. She was smiling. Nice little celebration. You'd love to see it. In this match, Corbin Albert also tallying assist for PSG as well. Staying in France, Lyon beats Fleury 4-0. Lindsay Heaps does not feature in the squad, perhaps already on her way back to Los Angeles, where the U.S. women's national team will face Brazil Saturday at SoFi Stadium. Over in England, Kat Macario playing all 90 minutes in Chelsea's 2-2 draw to West Ham. Mia Fischel playing 33 minutes in that match, the most WSL minutes she has played this season as she returns from an ACL injury at the start of 2024. She is a training player for the USA in their upcoming window. Manchester United winning 2-0 over Everton. Fallon Tellis-Joyce getting her 12th clean sheet of the WSL season. She is in line to make her U.S. women's national team debut against Brazil. And there was another brace from an American in Europe this weekend. Lily Johannes, the 17-year-old, getting it in Ajax's 4-0 victory over Den Haag. Not an American, but a very worthy goal. I could not let us get out of Europe without talking about the goal from Rusha Littlejohn for the Shamrock Rovers over the weekend. It's 1-1. The game is at the restart, and she simply just goes for it. She shocks me. She catches everybody on the field, including the goalkeeper, completely off guard, and just gets it right in, bangs it in. Goal of the week, for sure. Goal of the year, perhaps. And Ireland will face the U.S. women's national team in a pair of friendlies in June. And a few things before we get out of here today. Congratulations to Alex Morgan and Servando Carrasco announcing the birth of their son, Enzo. If you were out at a match this weekend with a big crowd or a small crowd, we don't care. Let us know how you were enjoying it. You can email us at fulltime@theathletic.com or message us on Instagram and TikTok at @TAFulltime. Did you know The Athletic has partnered with Yahoo Sports to provide free best-in-class coverage of women's sports? That's right. Check out the Women's Sports Hub at sports.yahoo.com/women-sports. And Full Time does not happen without our amazing cast: podcast producer Theo Lloyd Hughes, video producer Leah Griffin, and executive producer Emily Olson. Thanks so much for listening. Meg Linehan will be back with our weekly flagship Full Time show on Wednesday.